been playing a lot of uke lately. When I was a little kid, I played trumpet in school bands, and then I picked up the guitar about 12. And I learned pretty much by ear. And I learned a lot of folk songs, and I'm finding today that the uke is great for that. I just like the fact that you can carry it around. It's light, it's easy, it's informal. And of course for me, I'm playing it primarily for fun, and sometimes as a sketchbook, a way to sketch out some ideas for arrangements and so forth. But I like playing those old folk songs like Peggio. Simon and Garfunkel, they recorded that. It's an old Scottish folk song. Trying to think of some others that are. Here we go. How about Doc Watson, Deep River Blues. You know, these are the kinds of things I listened to when I was a kid. Of course, I listened to all the rock and roll. I was fortunate to grow up in the Bay Area in the 60s as a teenager. So all the Bill Graham shows, seeing concerts like Chuck Berry on a co-bill with the Doors, seeing Muddy Waters on a co-bill with the band. These were amazing shows, and but it all seemed to mesh with the more traditional folk music. And as a guitar player, you know, I was learning to fingerpick and strum and playing a lot of folk songs. In fact, when I started recording and got out on the road, one of my early gigs was opening for Doc Watson, and it was great to see him up close and get to talk with him. He was just such a friendly guy, and I was backstage getting ready to go on opening for him, and I'd had some new strings on there, and I was trying to stretch them out, and he said, "Son, let me show you a good way to get that done." And he just would, you know, pull on them like this and maybe let them snap a little bit. And I imagine by then he'd changed a lot of strings. Anyway, Mississippi John Hurt, Bert Chanch, John Renbourn, Simon and Garfunkel. These are the songs that I learned to fingerpick when I was a teenager. And so when I got a little older, I went off to college. Took some jazz guitar lessons, took some music lessons, but really learned primarily by ear. And by the time I made my first recording, I was in college at UC Berkeley taking the music theory classes and then going home and tuning the guitar in an odd way and not thinking at all about what I was doing and just playing and just making stuff up. So I was a little bit schizophrenic. And today, now that I know something about writing music out, transcribing my pieces, working with musicians where I need to learn, where I need to read a little bit, you know, it's changed my perspective a bit. But my heart is still rooted in the folk tradition, and yeah, I'm just trying to think of some of the other songs I played. Of course, the Beatles were big for us in the 60s, for everybody. experiment with drugs a little bit. It was an interesting time. So, you know, I have found that in my career that just being open to any kind of music is a real positive thing, and it feeds the creative juices in a way that I think sometimes just taking a very narrow slice and saying I'm just going to do this kind of music. I've had the good fortune to work with some very good free jazz musicians, not that I consider myself a jazz musician. And, you know, I've worked with string quartets, and I've even played classical, the Rodrigo Concierto de Aranjuez with an orchestra. That nearly killed me, having to prepare for that. That was a challenge I took on, which I got asked a second time to do it, and I said no. Once was enough. That nearly killed me. But anyway, during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been a good chance for me to reflect a little bit on what I've done and what I really want to do for the rest of my career. You know, a lot of people are wondering, will musicians be out touring again? And if they are, how different everything is going to be. We're at a real crossroads in our personal history and as a society. Right now, of course, with Black Lives Matter being a big story, I heard somebody describe what the word apocalypse, not as something that necessarily describes the end of the world, but that it's bringing huge change, and it's an unveiling or a revealing of things that have long you know, rumbled beneath the surface, like racism, like the pandemic that we're going through. You know, we had the plague in the Middle Ages, we had the 1918 flu, the Spanish flu, and now we have this. And there's a sense in my years growing up and as an adult, we always figured we're past that. You know, we've solved those problems, but we really haven't. So I think we're in for a bit of a rough road here going forward, and I think it's a great time for musicians to be sharing what they do, teaching what they do. I know I'll be teaching more and probably touring less, even if this pandemic relents. So it's probably, very possibly, the biggest event that at my age, 68 years old, that I've experienced. You know, I talk to my friends and my fellow musicians, and we're all saying this is just unprecedented. We never knew this could happen. This is having such a huge impact on all of us. I think the important thing is to kind of stay strong and not let it get you down. One of my early influences was Spider John Kerner. He did all those funny songs like Magazine Lady, How Can I Get You Off of That Magazine? You know, if you went into the water, would you look the same when you came out again? So, you know, Spider John, I think, was somebody that I just thought was great back then, and suddenly his songs seem more relevant again. Anyway, I'm going to kind of wrap this up and play a couple more things on the old uke here. I'd sing it for you, but I don't want to put you through that, the pain of hearing me sing. When I was 21, I was a street musician in London, and with my friend Nick that I grew up playing guitar with, we spent a whole summer just going around in the tube in the underground, and it was a real wonderful time, and I used to sing a lot. We had Dylan, Stevie Wonder, Simon and Garfunkel, all kinds of folk and pop songs, and you know, I could sing, but I think I wasn't a great singer, and now today I really kind of have to work at it a bit. But I just want to say a big shout out to the New York Guitar Festival. I've had the pleasure of playing at the festival 3 or 4 times over the years, and I've been able to do the silent film live guitar portion of the festival a couple times, once with the Japanese film by Yasujiro Ozu called A Story of Floating Weeds, which I ended up touring with for many years, and then also a Chaplin short. And then played at the festival in various venues in New York, and you know, it was a wonderful thing. I just hope it keeps going, and love to be a part of it again. So thank you, David Spellman, and I'm just going to go out strumming something here for you.